Okay, this is how I took a sales team from 0 to 70K cash collected in a month and a half. And so what I did was I started with the environment and I created a winner environment. How do you create a winner environment? You focus on the wins. Very simple, but people miss this part. They try to lead sometimes from a more, I guess let's call it maybe authoritarian or, numbers and results based environment without bringing in a strong aspect of celebration. What does that mean? Individual recognition, a culture of celebrating one another. So instead of, competition and pure competition, the competition always exists to some extent, but instead of just feeding off of that kind of lower level energy, we feed off of celebration and really, purpose, like coming into like what are you looking at? What are your wins, financially, and what are those wins going to allow for you to do or create in your life? And so we start every single call with celebrations, team calls, because we want to channel and activate, more of that type of environment. Why? Because then more of that energy will continue, which has been the case, right? We celebrate the small wins and they add up to bigger and bigger wins. So that is number one. Number two is I stay super focused on what really needs to happen. So there's a lot of moving pieces on any sales team. And the number one thing is service, right? Being in an energy, being at a level to serve your clients. That is ultimately what grows sales is if you're serving more people, you are making more sales, and service and sales are hand in hand, right? So when we're in the highest level service, we can ultimately create a bigger and stronger and better and higher level, sales team. So what we do for this is we focus on what we can control, which is our output, right? So really making sure we respond, in a timely manner, making sure that we are constantly in a feedback loop. So this is really one of the biggest pieces here, which is kind of the final piece that includes service, which is we are constantly training. We're constantly call reviewing. We're constantly talking about leads, talking about people, talking about what's working, what's not working, right? We're in constant communication, not from an over place of like we can't breathe, right? But in a flow. We're in a flow of when somebody comes in, we start the conversation about that person. Where are they at? What do they need? Right? What do I need to know? What do the other team members need to know in order to support this person and ultimately, enroll them if they are a fit. So this means, consistently recording and rewatching call reviews. This means consistently, passing notes and keeping updated like the CRM. And this goes into like service too, right? It's not of service to be so focused on the admin side of things, right? We do the admin so that our team can run like a well-oiled machine and so that we can all stay in the loop and we can serve people to the highest possibility. And, this really comes with a big trust on the team, right? Being able to talk to people to each other, right? As the sales manager, like are my team, do they feel comfortable coming to me? Do they feel comfortable getting training around something that might be tripping them up when they're on their calls, when they're seeing that come up again and again? Do they feel comfortable leaning into their own, growth edges where they might not be the best at something yet? And do they feel comfortable, being vulnerable and being able to lean in and get that support? Because ultimately that's how we grow together. And that's how my team has been doing so well. And we've been working together. It's like clockwork now and feels like magic, and that's really the in the pocket that you want to get to on the team. So I am so happy, so proud of them, and so proud of myself for, the way I've showed up and the way I've managed and held, the team to these goals. And we are just continuing to grow more and more. So I hope this video was helpful. And let me know any questions that you might have about managing a sales team for, service and coaching products and or what your experience has been with this.